Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey guys, it is Ryan. I'm not sure if you know this about me, but I'm a bit of a fun fanatic when I can. I like to work, but I like fun too. It's a thing. And now the truth is out there. I can tell you about my favorite place to have fun. Chumba Casino. They have hundreds of social casino style games to choose from with new games released each week. You can play for free anytime, anywhere. And each day brings a new chance to collect daily bonuses. So join me in the fun. Sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com.
No purchase necessary. VGW. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
Hey, and welcome into a brand new episode of the Foul Pole to Foul Pole Daily Show. This is your host, Tyler, with Black Diamond Softball and Fitness. We're going to switch it up just a little bit today, and we're going to talk about coaching primarily. Whether you are a coach that is starting out or you're a coach that has been in the game a very long time and you're starting a brand new season, I want to give you a couple of tips and pointers. Some stuff you probably already know, but some stuff that might remind you to help you when it comes to talking with the parents and communicating with parents so that you set the tone going into the new year. There's a lot of things that you want to do the same, and I'm sure there's a lot of things that you would like to do differently. But moving forward, here are just a few points that will help you when it comes to making sure your point gets across. Because as a coach, you have to play both sides of the field. You have to sort of develop your players, and you have to sort of develop the parents as well so that everyone is on the same page. And sometimes it can get difficult, but here are just a couple of things that may help you along the way. First and foremost, make some sort of introduction that has your vision there, and it helps you sort of introduce who you are, and it gives those parents that warm and fuzzy on what they can sort of expect moving forward. You don't have to go into the weeds on this. You don't have to be overly detailed on something like this. Just sort of give them an overview of who you are and what brings you to the coaching realm, if you will. So make sure you introduce yourself and somehow, some way, give them your coaching philosophy, whatever that may be. Emphasize, your standpoint on teamwork. Throw in some sportsmanship. Talk about your developing. What you're going to do for development, and then try to convey the positive atmosphere that you're going to have around you and your team. As you get through that, I'm sure there could be some questions and stuff like that, depending on the format that you're in. If you're sending an email, be thorough, because regardless, parents are going to skim through that. Busy lives, they got a lot of stuff going on. So make sure you hit and highlight your key points, and talk about your team goals and your expectations too. Set some concrete goals, not only for yourself, but for each player on the team. But if you're into the tryout phase, set team goals and the expectations of the team as far as developing. Maybe even talk a little bit about the tournaments that you're going to get into, that kind of stuff. And then make sure you kind of tie those together between your vision and your goals. Make sure they're aligning with the development of their player, and be completely honest. Don't go out there and say you're going to play some big time national schedule, where there's all this stuff that's involved in it, and you end up playing locally. And then don't undersell it and talk about playing locally and doing this and doing that. And then all of a sudden parents are getting hit with these different types of fees and stuff, like going to Florida or Texas or California or New York or wherever. Make sure you are completely transparent with that, and give those parents some channels of communication. Whether you're going to hold weekly emails, you're just going to send out the weekly notes. You're going to hold like Sunday nights, make sure you're checking your emails, or you're holding Monday nights, check your emails. You could do some team meetings as well. I've had a good response with team meetings. We do it via Zoom because we have girls from all over. Families live, 50, 60, 70 miles away. It's an easy way for me to communicate with everyone. I even go as far as recording them, putting them into a unlisted link so I can send that out if the parents weren't able to make it or if the players weren't able to make it. You can also have your group chats. There's a lot. Travel softball uses a lot of different platforms when it comes to group chats. We use GroupMe as a team. I know there's teams that use WhatsApp, and there's teams that use Google Meets, and there's teams that use just a regular text messaging. So whatever way you can, just to make sure you're communicating with them, whether it's to pass some word like the uniforms that you're going to wear or maybe some fundraiser information, anything that you need to talk to everybody at one time, make sure you're on one of these different types of communication methods. Talk to as many of your players at one time and as many of your parents at one time as you can. Make it easier on yourself as a coach. It'll benefit you, I promise. And as you do that, you start to focus a little bit on the players and stuff like that. Maybe you have an article to read that you want to send out to everybody, and that goes into that player development too. Maybe you're sending out some information like, hey, we can't get to practice today, but this week I want to make sure this, and this. So it all kind of rolls into that player development. And you could focus on a lot of different things. It could be focusing on skill building. It could be focusing on your pitchers, making sure they're getting their reps, making sure they're getting their hacks on the tee, different stuff like that. So it's all surrounding player development. Whether you're at practice, you're at tournaments, you're having team meetings and stuff like that. It's all about trying to develop that player. And of course, have a way to talk about playing time. It's always an issue. The best way to go about this whole playing time thing is to be as transparent from the very beginning. The very first time you talk to parents and players, go ahead and bring up playing time. So that way you can always revert back to that very first meeting that you had. The younger girls, hopefully coaches, you don't have such a big roster where you're trying to find playing time for 14 athletes. That's a lot, especially when you play 9 or 10, depending on your age group. As you get a little bit older, girls are a little bit more mature, hopefully. Parents have been in the game a little bit, and they kind of understand that we need 13, 14, 15 players. Everybody has a role. You will run into those ones that think that no matter what, they should be on the field. And hopefully that's few and far between. But whatever you're going to do as far as playing time, however they earn it, however you go about, divvying it out. If situationally, we coach our playing time is based off of the situation that we're in. And if you just keep reiterating that message, eventually it'll get across. And if it doesn't, you might have one or two outliers that just don't understand and don't get it. And they kind of weed themselves out. So, make sure you emphasize the opportunities that they have. It's not just, tournament gameplay and that's playing time. We're talking about getting reps. We're talking about the behind the scenes stuff, the individual, the one-on-one recruiting aspect. There's a lot that goes into it. And I know most of it kind of based on the playing time, like per game, per tournament. But sometimes the situation just doesn't dictate. And you just, again, go back to being transparent.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With that, it kind of helps you with your culture and it helps you with your team dynamic. And that allows you to go back and sort of highlight the importance of teamwork and just it's a team environment. We're all in this thing together. You really need the parents on board with you, with your philosophy. So you can't go in there some crazy where you're not going to have any followers. you got to go in there with people that you have a clear vision. They do believe in you. They do want your daughter to be exposed to your style of coaching, your philosophy, your approach. There's a lot that goes into that. So make sure your team dynamic is cultured in a way that you can sustain it, because it's really cool to jump out there and have all these great visions and what you want to do. But if you can't back that up within a couple of weeks, it's going to be tough for you to keep that locker room or keep that dugout. So very tough to do that if you're not transparent and honest. And of course, if you're in a big organization, or if you're in an organization that has multiple teams, the culture is going to sort of be established that you need to align with or sort of fit into, and make sure that your standards also are with their standards. And maybe that culture or maybe that organization isn't the right one for you, or whatever the case, but that kind of, it should dictate somewhat of how you run things, not down to the nitty gritty as far as how you run practices and call pitches. But, if you're in an organization that focuses on teamwork and togetherness, and we do this as one, that's kind of what the parents need to see too, as far as all the way down to the team level. Talk about how you're going to handle conflicts, and talk from the past, talk from experience. Make sure that the parents understand they can come to you directly. And a lot of coaches have that 24 to 48 hour window. Let them know that there are some instances where that 24 to 40 hour window, to kind of give both parties a chance to breathe a little bit. There could be some situations to where it needs to be addressed immediately, and but be clear on your message there, how you're going to handle conflicts and stuff like that. There's no favoritism in this and that. Now, there's going to be friendships and relationships that are involved with it. It's human nature. It's how we handle things in life. We either become close with others, we don't have anything to do with others, or we're just acquaintances with others. It's just how it is. So you make sure you're able to address any issues that pop up professionally. I think that's the main thing when we're talking about handling conflict and stuff like that. Make sure you're professional, where it can't come back on you. Talk about the respect that as a team you guys will have towards your opponents, towards the other coaches, towards the officials. When you go travel places, you guys that are traveling out of state and out of town, or across the state or whatever, you're staying in hotels. It's not just like a free-for-all, go and act like a bunch of animals. You want to make sure that when you go places and stuff, you treat everybody with respect. Doesn't matter if it's a waitress or someone at the front desk at a hotel, something like that. You have this, when they see your name, see your jersey, see your hat, they're gonna go one way or the other. These are a bunch of heathens, or wow, this is a very respectful group of players, or respectful group of young ladies, or whatever. So make sure that however your image is portrayed, it's the image that you want. Also, when it comes to that, get the parents involved with it. Allow them to be a part of what you're doing. Whether it's a team mom, assistant coach, somebody running stats, doing whatever, get them involved with it so they feel a little bit of ownership. They don't feel like they're being talked to or dictated to. Have them involved with you so they take some of the burden off of you. It helps you tremendously if you can have all the parents on board. They feel like they have a vital role, like their role matters. They feel like they're important, and they can take a lot of this load off of you, because as coaches, you know from the past, or if you haven't gotten to that point yet, the more help that you can get or foster, the better off you're going to be. Maybe you have a couple of moms and dads that head up the fundraising. You have a couple of moms and dads that maybe lock on travel for you. There's just a lot that you could do. You can divvy it up. You don't have to have your thumb on everything. Granted, your name is on the team and that kind of stuff, and you are the head coach and you have the final decision and that kind of stuff. But man, I'm telling you, take it from experience, when you've got a good group of parents that no matter what, anytime you ask for something, somebody stepping up to volunteer, it helps out a tremendous amount. You know, and that also kind of plays into the safety aspect of things, and, you know, having parents around and stuff like that, just having another set of eyes just in case something happens. You know, it's a crazy world we live in today. Injuries happen, things behind the scenes, inappropriate relationships, and just stuff like that. So the more eyes on, the better in this situation. And it kind of helps the team be committed to one another. And that's what it is. It's a team. And again, you don't have to play softball. You don't have to play youth sports. You don't have to be involved in them. Nothing like that. It should be fun. It should be it'd be something that everybody's kind of on the same sheet, or at least by the end of the season, they're on the same sheet of music. We all have the same vision. This is our head coach. We can count. You know, we can count on him. There's so much that we can do. There's a lot that we can influence when it comes to, you know, putting a team together. But at the end of the day, it's on your shoulders, and it's, you know, your name is with it. That's it. Your name goes with that team. So make sure your parents understand that. And then in your first initial meeting, reiterate your key points when it comes to what's most important to you. Maybe 3, 4, 5 things. Maybe it's teamwork. Maybe it's positivity. Maybe it's development. Maybe it's, I don't know, helping them get recruited. There's so many different things that you could make it that this is what the team's going to focus on. And it can change year to year. And you may not have those points going into it. It could be everything is important to you, and that's cool. But end it on a positive note, kind of get people pumped up, ready to go to start off. You don't want people kind of dragging into practice. Like, all right, well, we're here, you know, at the very beginning of the season where everybody's kind of sluggish and they don't want to do anything. Man, it's going to be a long year. But if you get people pumped up and ready to go, you got big plans, you got big ideas, you got things in place to make those big plans and big ideas come through. There's, you know, just be positive about it. That's what this is all about. So coaches, you know, it's a great time. I talk to the players all the time and in different forums and different ways of spreading content out there about kind of resetting in the fall after the fall season, stuff like that. Man, coaches do that too. Reset. It's be like, you know what? I am not doing that again this year. We're going to do it this way next year. I'm going to focus on this time around. Girls are aged up. We've got to sort of leave this behind and start doing this now. There's just so much that you can do. It doesn't have to be the same. I mean, you can change. Take it from your own experience and be like, you know what? This year, Wednesday nights, no matter what, 8 o'clock, we're going to have a team meeting. We're going to make them mandatory, or they're not going to be mandatory, or whatever. Like, you know, do whatever you feel is best. But, you know, remember, clarity and transparency are the two key things that you can do to foster that positive environment for softball. And it doesn't necessarily have to be softball. It can be for any sport, any group. As long as the leader or the coach or the head or the whatever you want to call it yourself is 1,000% transparent on everything that you can be, you're going to be better. There's no secrets. There's no, like, don't try to be, well, I'm in charge, so it's my way. If you're like that, you're not going to have a following. So think about that before you do kind of kick this thing off. And this needs to be in place before you have your very first tryout, because you may only take one player from your very first tryout of 20 kids. And when you have that communication with them, these one-on-one meetings that you have, this sort of, your bullet points need to be the same. Now, you don't have to go into every single detail when it comes to that one-on-one meeting, but whatever you say to this one parent, it needs to be in line with whatever you say to that next parent too, because eventually you're going to have them all together, and you don't want to be like, well, he told me this or she told me that. You know, it needs to be in line. So think about that kind of stuff. That's going to wrap it up here. Foul Pole to Foul Pole Daily. Just wanted to help you a little bit when it comes to communication with the parents, because that goes right back to the players and vice versa. So it's just something that you may already do, and it's just like, hey, this guy, he's reading my playbook, or this guy, doesn't know what he's talking about, and be like, yeah, I'm definitely not doing anything that he says. Just some way, somehow, I hope this impacts you so you can either make an adjustment or sort of hammer down on what you're doing. So appreciate you guys joining me today. If you like this type of stuff, man, check us out over on the YouTube channel. We have our website. That stuff will be linked down below. You can click on that, very easy. Boom, it brings up a brand new page and you have it. There is these Foul Pole to Foul Pole dailies go out pretty much daily, unless I have something else going on and I can't get it out. But be sure you're following. If you know someone that likes this type of stuff, wants to get involved somehow, some way with listening to some podcasts, or maybe they're continuing to develop and I can help them out in any way, please, man, make sure you share it. And when you do, you tell them you love them.